example, like there were some rough spots, like just because in like during like middle school and maybe a bit of high school for myself, just going through a lot of pressures in school, like in a lot of these things outside of school as well, where like my parents and I would fight more than before. And so I think there are definitely some of these fights that like from early on where if communication was poor, I would get angry, my parents get angry, because I'm getting angry, and then I get more angry because my parents are angry, and then this just goes on. But I think like before, like poor communication was that where like one of us would just walk off, like maybe my dad would just like leave the room, or I would leave the room, and that kind of thing. But I think like communication can feel really difficult because as you're going through a lot of these emotions and you're not necessarily thinking clearly, it's kind of difficult to understand and how to articulate your words correctly and how to express yourself correctly. And I think especially for if I really want to call my parents out, hopefully they're not on this call, and if they are, they won't be embarrassed by this. But for example, my dad could be very impatient sometimes, and especially as fathers are, they definitely want you to grow up, and like they want the best for you, and they want like things to work out for you. But a lot of times before, my dad would not be as patient, and I think I've definitely seen him change throughout the years through him also being discipled and discipling others in the Christian community, going through church, things like that. Even my dad leading a small group. There's a lot of these like small things that you kind of see that are improvements that you're like, oh, it could be that he's a genuine Christian, it could not still, like for example, just learning how to pray better and things like that. But I think the most important thing is showing that he's like bearing fruit in the spirit, and that like before, like when I was really young, if I had done something wrong, he might be really upset, and like he might just like get mad. But like recently, and like more and more, like he's understands patience, love, like of these things that like you definitely see people like grow in the spirit if they're Christian. That's actually the thing. I feel like, at least among my friends and other people who I interacted with through like peers and people in school, my parents did not place that sort of expectation on me where they said you must get a certain grade, or you must do this or that. I think they did place importance on like you kind of must like know what you're interested in, and do the kind of thing that you're interested in. And there are a couple of things that I think where this is a gray area. Like for example, my parents I think were opposed to any of us going to any sort of like art school, because they said, oh, like it's difficult to like make money in these areas, things like that.
And I really appreciate your mature comment that none of us can quote unquote judge or assess how mature they are in their Christian faith or their relationship with God. It's not for us to tell. It's for God to see in our